You with Match Day, and 3 championship fixtures are about to get underway this lunchtime, including Ipswich Town versus Blackburn Rovers. Let's join Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley for full commentary from Portman Road.
Here we go again, the third and final meeting between Ipswich Town and Blackburn this season. The pitch is fine and the forecast decent, so I can say that with some confidence. Having not really turned up for either meeting at Ewood Park, we're hoping Rovers get a greater understanding of why Kieran McKenna's men are third in the table this afternoon. Mind you, we've yet to see the best of Blackburn either, because for whatever reason, they're a much better side on their travels. In fact, only leaders Coventry and Stoke have won more games on the road than today's visitors, and they've got more away points than Ipswich. Mind you, given Town's recent form at Portman Road, they're targeting a 6th straight win in all competitions this afternoon. We're expecting them to come out on top in the first of back-to-back home fixtures over the next few days. And Mick, this has become a tough place for opposing sides to visit this season, hasn't it, Portman Road?
Yes, it has, and I just think that this could well be a very timely fixture. We had Middlesbrough winning last night. Coventry are playing at the same time as us today. They've got a very difficult game against Leicester, but they are at home. We've got home advantage. Blackburn, a little bit like when we went down to Portsmouth, we were going to face a depleted Portsmouth team. I think this is a little bit of a depleted side that Blackburn are putting out today. They're in a very low league position. I mean, looking at the league table, you would definitely say it's any 2 from a possible 5 that will go down with Sheffield Wednesday, and poor old Blackburn are in amongst that as well. So this is a tough fixture for Blackburn. It really is. I think we've certainly become recently coming into some good form. We've got a much more settled team. I would be sort of, before you read them out, I would be saying that with extreme confidence, this is Kieran McKenna's starting 11. But you'll be able to read it out in a minute. But so there's a little bit of settledness about Town at the moment, and it's a good time for us. We've had a mini break. We're now going into the new year with a lot of confidence, I think.
Well, Town team today, 2 changes from the Oxford game, their last league match. Kiyuste dropped to the bench, Akpom is out with an injury, in come Taylor and Hurst back, having missed the last 4. Walton in goal, back for a Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Davis. Then Matusiwa plays alongside Taylor, and it's the 3 of Eggerly, Nunez and Philogene in behind Hurst. On the bench, Palmer, Greaves, Johnson, Young, Kiyuste, Burns, Clark, Smodics and Athon. We understand that McAteer is also up the minor injury as the 2 sets of players head towards the centre circle. This is the club's annual memorial match day, when we remember members of the Ipswich Town family who have passed away in the last year.
Which will end on the referee's whistle. Once a blue, always a blue.
It's a really lovely thing that's come into football in the last few seasons. So the 2 teams breaking away, Town in their blue, white, blue, up against the old gold of Blackburn. They're in their change kit, and their team shows 4 changes from their last league game. A 2-2 draw with Charlton. Out go Pratt, Miller, Pickering and Pears. In come Tott, Cashin for his league debut, Denev and Henriksen. Tott is their keeper. The back 3 of Atchison, McLaughlin and Cashin. Cashin on loan from Brighton, just had a similar spell at Birmingham. Then a 5 across the park, Gardner Hickman, Cantwell the captain, Tronstadt will sit, Baraji and Denev, and then it's Henriksen, who's actually a midfielder, will play off Ohashi, who's got 7 goals this season, the Japanese. On the bench, Michalski is usually their 3rd choice keeper, Pickering, Ribeiro, O'Riordan, Pratt, Forshaw back after an injury, Doherty, Powell, and the potential debutant Matthias Jorgensen, a 25-year-old Danish striker who's just been brought into Ewood Park in the last 36 hours or so. It's Cantwell, the former Norwich player, over the yellow ball in the centre of Portman Road. ready to get this championship match. Game number 26 for Ipswich Town this season underway. Cantwell got the penalty that put Blackburn 1-0 up in the game that was abandoned at Ewood Park earlier on this season, before these two sides drew 1-1 in the rescheduled fixture. Cinderwalla Eggley with a late equaliser for Ipswich Town on that occasion. He's back in the side, having been on the bench for the cup game a week ago. The Norwegian playing underneath us down the right in this first half. There is Atchison getting the ball out to the far side, and Gardner Hickman's actually the fourth time Gardner Hickman's played against Ipswich Town this season. Came on for Birmingham on the opening day and featured for Blackburn in both of those games towards the end of the year. As the referee has blown his whistle.
Why did he blow his whistle there? I can't.
No, I'm not sure at all.
Because I thought, well, that Blackburn player's lazy. That was a lovely ball that's gone over the top of our defence and was never going to go out of play, and I wondered why he wasn't chasing after it. So
it's a free kick to Blackburn just inside their half of the field. Confusion inside the first minute here at Portman Road, but it hasn't really mattered. Tall Atchison belts it forward for Blackburn all the way through to Christian Walton, who has the ball in the penalty area. He's in all orange this afternoon, standing in front of the Sir Bobby Robson stand. He was always going to come back in, even though Palmer played and made some good stops actually against Blackpool in the Cup last week. Just a reminder of the fact that Town have got two very good senior goalkeepers. I'd imagine Palmer will start one of the Wrexham games, the first one next month, when Ipswich Town will be trying to get through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. There's a player down on the halfway line. It was Kipre went over the top of his own man. It's Leif Davis who's been fouled, but he's relatively quickly springing back up to his feet, and no harm done. Throw into Blackburn on the halfway line. They've won at Leicester, Bristol City and Preston, drew at Middlesbrough. They're taking points in a few places that Ipswich Town didn't manage to get too many this season. As I say, just the 2 wins at Ewood Park. Bizarre how much stronger they've been on their travels. Here are Blackburn trying to test Ipswich Town defensively early on. It's Denev, the Belgian. Good looking ball into the box, but Hashi couldn't get there quickly enough. That's in the palms of Christian Walton.
Well, they've had a nice start. We haven't actually seen the ball yet, but they've sort of started very confidently, and that's a good attack down the left-hand side. The left wing back into a nice position.
Town trying for a 6th consecutive win here in all competitions. Nunez gets the ball out to the left, and Philogene back to the Chilean Nunez inside the area. Low ball across the face of goal, deflected into the net. It's Cashin on his league debut for Blackburn Rovers. What a nightmare for him after 3 minutes. He tucked the ball beyond Tot. It was a fine finish from the Irishman and gives Ipswich Town a 1-0 lead in bizarre circumstances.
Well, very strange goal. First time we've actually had clean possession. I think Hurst has gone down. I'm not sure whether he's okay, but when Nunez made the run, I was surprised that nobody went with him, and when he was allowed to sort of face the penalty area and get a cross in, I thought, well, that's bad play to start with. And then when the Blackburn player made contact with the ball, I did fear the worst for him. I really did. It looked as if he was facing in completely the wrong direction, and an own goal was a distinct possibility.
Cashin up to the halfway line. There was a player that was linked with Ipswich Town a couple of years ago, Aaron Cashin, very good defender. So he was in his time at Derby. He's made a couple of Premier League sub-appearances for Brighton, but spent most of the time out on loan. It's a terrible start for him in a Rovers shirt, as the ball is belted long all the way back to Christian Walton. Don't know whether that counts as another assist for Marcelino Nunez, who has racked up a fair number. Must be almost top of the assist charts at this level perhaps this season.
It's debatable, that one, isn't it? You know, because his ball has found a Blackburn player, so therefore it's not necessarily a good ball, but he has forced the man to put it in the back of his own net. So 1 for him, 1 against him.
Furlong with a throw back to O'Shea. 1-0 Ipswich Town if you're joining us 4.5 minutes into this game. An own goal from Cashin's given Town the lead. Christian Walton having to do a bit of footwork at the back. One little layoff and then almost tried to dribbly run beyond a combination of Cantwell and Hashi. Got away with it. Up goes the tall man Atchison over the top of Hurst. Hurst of course had some time at Ewood Park early in his career. Hashi to Cantwell. To the left-hand side, Henriksen, terrible ball looking for Denev. Well, we talked about if Town can score an early goal, they might be a bit more open than we were expecting from this game. Well, they've got it, albeit through an unusual source, as Kieran McKenna just unzips his grey puffer jacket down below us, puts his hands in his pockets and watches on.
Yeah, that was poor from Blackburn. They got themselves in a really good position, and then a ridiculously short ball from the Blackburn player gave possession to Town, and then we threatened down the right-hand side.
Walton outside the D, off to our left. 5 minutes and 16 seconds gone, says the scoreboard, halfway up the Sir Bobby Robson end. Walton playing a bit more football, almost giving it away. It's very risky from Walton at the moment. He's got away with it a couple of times. Here is O'Shea, switching play expertly. Terrific ball from the captain, controlled by Philogene, up against Gardner Hickman, who's never played as a right wing back, more of a central midfielder. Here is O'Shea. To his right-hand side, Darnell Furlong, one of those completely rested a week ago. Furlong, Hurst, his touch lets him down. In steps McLaughlin, strong, battle-hardened centre-half, the number 15 of Blackburn Rovers. Rarely misses a minute of league action. He's keeping a close eye on George Hurst at the moment.
Yeah, they're playing with a back three there, but they're definitely paying a lot of attention to Nunes. He's got actually a man-for-man marker.
Nice 1-2 between Philogene and Davis. Back to Davis on the far side. Davis gets the ball after a mistake from a Blackburn player, not an off on it for Nunez, gliding across the grass. Blackburn player gives it away. Davis is fouled from behind by Henriksen, who's got heavily strapping on his left leg. It's a free kick to Town in a good position.
Well, in possession, Blackburn have started quite well, very confident in possession, but then they, for some reason, I mean, with 6 minutes on the clock, and you've got to count maybe 4 to 5 awful mistakes they've made, and it's, if they continue to do that, then they're in for a bit of a hiding, I think.
Yeah, no Andre Gudjonsson for Blackburn, who's looked a good player when I've seen them. Marishta's missing, Wharton, Carter, Alabiosu. They've got a fair few players out. Forshaw also missed their last league game, but is on the bench again today. They've had a terrible time with injuries. Alabiosu's actually been at the African Cup of Nations, but even he's injured out there. That just sums up their lack of luck. Davis with a free kick, 29 yards from goal. Doesn't look like he's going to try to hit the net directly. Left-footed, he puts it into the Blackburn area towards O'Shea, who heads it down, who maybe should have done better. He's hit a Blackburn player and they cleared their lines, but it was a free header for the Ipswich Town captain.
Yeah, definitely should have done better. Just the other thing which was I felt quite interested in was the only player that was left up the pitch was the left wing back, so he must be a bit of a suspect defender and not to be in the box for a free kick.
Furlong, wide right to Nunez, good ball from the full-back. Nunez, edge of the area, knocks it into the middle looking for Hurst, headed away as far as Eggerly! Oh, what a hit from Eggerly! Brilliant save by Tott. That would have been another contender for goal of the season, because he met it beautifully off his left foot, edge of the 18-yard area, volleyed it. It was arrowed towards the top corner, and the goalkeeper did terrifically well.
No doubt about it, that would have been goal of the month, without doubt. I mean, the volley comes from quite a high height. It's sort of not low, you know, where most people would like to have the ball to volley it on target, but he's got to sort of get his foot up on the ball. It's a very, very late save as well.
This game's nothing like I expected. We could actually see some goals here this afternoon. We've seen one already in the Blackburn net. Here comes Ipswich Town with a corner kick. And it comes from Nunez, punched away by the man in green, Tott. Had as far as Eggerly, who seems to enjoy playing against Blackburn. That was some effort from him. Low ball into the box, scuffed, poor from him. Chance for Kipre to recycle it. Still in the attacking third as far as Town are concerned. Cashin, who's got the only goal, the own goal, heads it away. Eggerly gets the better of Cantwell. Cantwell goes down. The referee's bought it. Free kick at left back to Blackburn.
Yeah, I do find this strange that the only player that's left up the pitch for these set plays is the left wing back. And I was listening to somebody talking about a wing back on the radio when I was coming in, and he said, well, he does more wing than back without question, and I think you could sort of sum this one up as being far more of a forward than a defender.
Yeah, I spoke to a Blackburn fan earlier on the build-up to this game. They were less than complimentary about Dion Deneuve as a left wing back, doing just what Mick was talking about there, the defensive side of the game. So we've maybe seen that already. Evidence of that in this first 9.5 minutes, which have been productive for Ipswich Town. Nunez created a goal for Cashin to put it past his own goalkeeper. That's why Town lead 1-0. Davis to Taylor. Taylor closed down by Henriksen. Ball comes off the Swede and goes out behind for an Ipswich Town goal kick. It was 4-3 when these two sides last met here. Harry Clark, now a Charlton player temporarily anyway. Broadhead, Hurst and Luongo scored for Town, and that was actually the last time that Sam Smodic scored at Portman Road in that particular fixture. Well, we weren't expecting to see anywhere near 7 goals this afternoon in this. It looked like it was going to be very tight, but based on this first 10 minutes, maybe not. Maybe we'll see the ball in the back of the net a bit more. Taylor robs the ball well in midfield. Philogene can't keep it in. There's a little drag back. Was challenged by Gardner-Hickman. The ball's out for an Ipswich throw in front of the cobbled stand. Davis gives it back to Kipre. Kipre goes square to his captain O'Shea. Now Furlong. O'Shea, another player who wasn't involved last week. Lovely little touch from Hurst. Nunez out to the left hand side. Lovely play from Town. Controlled by Philogene. Davis is overlapping. He wants the ball. He gets it wide left. Tries to get his cross in. Nice football from Town. They've won a corner kick.
Yeah, and it's very predictable football that once the ball went in the direction of Nunez, he had to do it very, very quickly because there was a tackle coming in. He did it quickly. He got it out to Philogene on the left touchline. And then when it goes to Philogene, I always look back. Leif Davis, he's out of the blocks very, very quickly.
I think if you're a Blackburn fan at the moment, you're going to be a little bit worried. Town seem to be clicking into gear in the 12th minute. Nunez has his, and Ipswich Town's second corner kick of this game, which they lead 1-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Many bodies in blue in the box off to our right hand side. In comes the curler from the Chilean towards the far post, nodded down by O'Shea, saved by Todd, and it's poked in. Town get their second goal. Jack Taylor seems to lead the celebrations. O'Shea is in the mix as well. What we can say with absolute certainty is that Ipswich Town have made the dream start. 12 minutes on the clock, and they're already 2-0 up against Blackburn Rovers. That could well be Jack Taylor's first goal of the season.
And it's already another mistake without seeing it back again. I think the goalkeeper's almost got it, and then it goes loose, and then it gets stabbed over the line. Yeah, I think the goalkeeper's pretty much got it smothered, but he just allows that ball to go fractionally loose, and it's stabbed over the line for a goal. This team make too many mistakes to have any chance of a result whatsoever.
Very poor Blackburn, and Ipswich Town really in the groove. Ball belted forward, right-footed by Tott, chested down by O'Shea. He'll be trying to claim an assist for that goal. Let's head to Graham at 2-0 Ipswich.
Jordan James for Leicester. They lead at Coventry.
Wow. Town just 5 points behind Coventry with a game in hand in the live table. It's a good player, James, alongside Hackney. Probably the best two midfielders I've seen this season at this level. Gets a lot of goals as well, Jordan James.
Well, they're having an absolute nightmare, Coventry.
Totally. Form's gone off the edge of a cliff. Middlesbrough winning last night. Ipswich Town in a great position to go on and win, albeit we've still got 77 minutes of this game to go. Couldn't have started any better. Cashin with an own goal. Taylor doing well to get himself in there at the near post to force the ball over the line for 2-0. Kipre against Ohashi. Ohashi goes to ground, bounces back up. Cashin out of play away from Kieran McKenna. Blackburn Rovers totally in the eye of a storm at the moment, and Ipswich Town sensing blood.
Yeah, and there's a sort of, I don't like an attitude sometimes when I see players looking like that. The 10, Todd Cantwell, when that ball was played out of touch, he just had a look of absolute disgust on his face. You know, you don't do that with a teammate.
Walton to Matchasiwa, back to Walton. This isn't good to see, but he's played it well to the right hand side. O'Shea in from Furlong, away from Nunez. Henriksen steps in there, wins the ball well. Cashin back to Henriksen. Blackpool don't need a foot up from his mistake at the back from Ipswich Town. Denev to Cantwell. Tronstad, the Norwegian, gives it back to Cashin. Cashin shows a bit of the ball to Eggerly, then just glides infield, tries a reverse pass to Tronstad, who gets the better of his fellow Norwegian Eggerly. Tronstad switches the play, the number 6 looking to the far side, and Gardner-Hickman easily intercepted by Davis. Henriksen scoops it forward. Furlong will get there ahead of Cantwell and head it back to his goalkeeper. Well, good play from the fullback.
Yeah, everything about the performance is good, but we are a little bit risky with our short play at the back. What we've got to remember, and I hope they've sort of taken stock of it, we are very, very in a rare position where we're playing against two strikers. So invariably our centre halves are both occupied. So we've got to be a little bit more careful than normal.
Hashi just outnumbered. Taylor gets the ball back to Davis. Davis trying to take on Henriksen. Gets a bit fortunate, the ball comes off Henriksen out for a throw to Town at left back. Yeah, Town have got Bristol City here on Tuesday night. Full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. For the moment though, they lead Blackburn Rovers by 2-0. Both goals coming inside the first 12 minutes of this 12:30 kickoff. In fact, we've only played 15.5 minutes here. Middlesbrough winning late on 3-2 at West Brom last night. Coventry behind against Leicester this lunchtime. The other lunchtime kickoff, another interesting one. Watford against Millwall, both sides with serious playoff ambitions. Baraji, the French midfielder, running forward to the left-hand side. He gives it to Deneuve outside the Ipswich area. Short is Cantwell, the captain. Deneuve's held on to the ball, tries to cross it, come off of Furlong, and Blackburn win their first corner kick.
Yeah, they're decent possession play. They were sort of searching for to get some room to get across in. The left wing back never really got that room, Deneuve. But he knows that if he puts the ball where he did, he'll win a corner kick.
Cantwell getting a nice warm welcome back to East Anglia from the north stand. Positions the ball off to our left-hand side. Blackburn 2-0 down as he gets ready to take this set piece with his orange boots. Referee just telling them to reposition the ball. Mark Hudson, the Ipswich Town set-piece specialist, doing some work from the technical area down below us, trying to communicate something to the boys in blue, all 10 of which are back inside Walton's penalty area. Eventually Cantwell gets this corner kick in, two heads go towards the ball on the near post. Cashin and Furlong. Flags up against Blackburn. Free kick at the back to Ipswich Town.
Yeah, I think he's in an offside position. But another interesting thing from that corner to Blackburn is the only player that was in a defensive position, Deneuve. So he's not involved in attacking free kicks and corners, and he's not involved in defensive ones. He just doesn't get involved. You know, the manager obviously says, look, I don't want you anywhere near any penalty areas today.
Town's man of the match a week ago, Jacob Greaves, has just gone out for a jog with Jack Clark, Wes Burns and Ben Johnson, some of the Ipswich Town substitutes this afternoon. Town have brought in Taylor, a goal scorer, and Hurst for Kayuste and Akpom compared to the last league side. All three, or two should I say, of Town's games so far this calendar year finished 2-1. At the moment they're 2-0 ahead. There is Taylor. Be a nice moment for him to get his first of the season.
Yeah, especially when most people would have thought he's been given the vote over Kajus for the starting position, to weigh in with a very important goal won't do him any harm at all.
There he is, Taylor to Matu Siwa, who's just caught out a Hashi, runs away with the ball, but he runs square with it in the middle third. To his left-hand side is Deneuve, motoring forward from left wing-back, getting the better of Egley so far, drills the ball into the box, deflected away by the thigh of Furlong. Nunez gives it short to Hurst back to Matu Siwa, a little touch from him to Kipre inside his area. Hashi pressing for Blackburn. Kipre lifts the ball to the left. Philogene can't keep it in. It's a throw-in to Blackburn, midway inside the Ipswich Town half. Blackburn have it on the far side there right, with the tall, lean player Atchison. Gives it to Cantwell, gets the 1-2 back after a mistake from Davis. Ball into the area, intercepted well by O'Shea, just as well he did, because Baraji was behind him, lurking with menace. That mistake from Davis could have led to a goal back for Blackburn, but well done, Dara O'Shea. Blackburn with a little bit of possession, not threatening at the moment. Gardner-Hickman now has the ball for Blackburn Rovers, turns it out to the far side, and Cantwell, a few half-hearted boos towards him. Gardner-Hickman crosses into the Ipswich area, there's a deflection, it's headed away by Furlong, nodded back by Cashin, nodded into the box by Henriksen, but into the grasp of Christian Walton.
Yeah, they're quite good in possession, but often they do at the end make a mistake. But the one thing they've done okay, and it's this position when Christian Walton's got the ball. I haven't seen another team at Portman Road before that have made Christian Walton go long so many times.
Here is the number 15 with a little touch, McLaughlin. Gardner-Hickman to Ohashi. Touching it on was Cantwell. Couldn't link up with Ohashi in the end. Furlong has it at the back for Ipswich Town. He rolls the ball back to Christian Walton. Walton to Matthew. See, that was far too risky. Terrible from Walton. He's got away with it. The ball's rolled into the net, but it won't count. But that was a daft ball from Walton. It was never on to Matthew Siwa.
That's how they're told
Crazy.
to play. If the two centre-halves are occupied when the goalkeeper's got the ball, we saw it with Sam Morsey, the ball that they tried to get you to play is to the holding midfield player. It used to be Morsey, it's now Matasua, and bounce the ball off him, but it is risky. The player that's receiving it from the goalkeeper has got to know what he's doing, and he mustn't make a mistake.
Put him under unnecessary pressure there. I was asking a heck of a lot of Matthew Siwa. Town got away with it, and now there's a handball on the far side from a Blackburn player. Although he's only given the throw-in, the referee clearly came off the hand of Gardner-Hickman. 2-0 Ipswich lead, 21 minutes played live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Every kick of every Ipswich Town game. Afterwards, your thoughts very welcome. 0800 141 2121 or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. Taylor fires a pass at Furlong. He's run forward with it well, but then given it to Denev. Sloppy from Furlong. Cantwell shows a lot of the ball to Furlong, too much. Furlong puts it in behind for Nunez. Can Nunez get onto the ball? Probably not. Tronstadt comes across and takes a touch. Elected not to see if had enough to go out for a goal kick. Baraji has lost the ball to Ipswich. Furlong goes square to Philogene on his left side, the ball at the moment, probably unlikely to try a shot. He then goes in on a 50-50, cleared by Tronstadt in the end for Blackburn. Baraji picks it up, runs into trouble, he tricks Furlong. Free kick to Ipswich underneath us. Incidentally, the referee this afternoon, Andrew Kitchen, did the Birmingham draw on the opening day of the season when he gave Ipswich Town a late penalty, and then he did the win over Portsmouth here in September. He's the man with the whistle, and he's just given Town a free kick. Good atmosphere at Portman Road. A few people in the build-up to this one sort of said that the atmosphere for 12:30 games, aside from when Norwich here, isn't ordinarily that great, but there's a nice feel around the place, although 2 Ipswich Town goals in the first 12 minutes will have no doubt helped. Nunez on this free kick underneath us, knocking it into the box off to our right-hand side towards Hurst. His header's wide from the Ferreld way out.
Yeah, it just sort of pushed Hurst a little bit into a standing position. He just needs the ball, well, the whole blue line needs the ball slightly further forward than Nunez put it, and more into a space so they can run onto it.
Cashin, so unlucky with that own goal early on, gives it to Denev. Furlong should win this battle, he does. He curls the ball back to Walton, who's got a bit more time to deal with matters. Gives it out to Kipre. Kipre to halfway Hurst. Hurst tries to spin McLaughlin. Well done, George Hurst. Philogene through the legs of Atchison. Referee says no foul. Cobbled stand. The majority of the Cobbled stand unhappy with that. Play goes on. Blackburn and Gold have it with Gardner-Hickman. He spins away from the challenge of Philogene. A little Cruyff turn from Atchison leaves Philogene for dead. Blackburn get up towards Ohashi. Flag has stayed down inside the area. Great play from Blackburn. Brilliant block from O'Shea. That's a real opportunity for Rovers. It was nice football, probably the best we've seen of them. Well done, Dara O'Shea.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, but I would have hazarded a guess that was offside.
I thought he looked it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Blackburn on the right-hand side with Gardner-Hickman, the wing-back on the Blackburn right. Stroking it around confidently at the moment, Blackburn, albeit they're 2-0 behind. Cashin switches the ball back out to the far side, looking for Cantwell. Davis wins a header, nods it down for Philogene. Philogene over the top of Atchison, he holds him up. Surely going to be a yellow card. It's certainly going to be a free kick, and yeah, Atchison's left the referee with a very, very easy decision. First name in the book.
Yeah, very easy decision. I mean, just prior to that, he's given Philogene sort of, he's gone against Philogene. He said, no, you're making it too theatrical, and he's ignored a couple, and then that one, which definitely was a foul, he's decided, no, they've been a little bit too aggressive with this player.
In the 25th minute, Mick Mills alongside me on BBC Radio Suffolk. He will be on Tuesday night for the visit to Bristol City. Kipre back to Walton, a little bit short, a few oohs and ahs in the crowd, but Walton cleared away from Cantwell. Egley on the ball for Ipswich Town. He's got 4 players round about him. Nunez to the right hand side. Nunez low into the box towards Hurst. Cleared away by McLaughlin for Blackburn, out for a Town throw outside the Blackburn area.
Yeah, this looks as if it's going to be a good day for our front four, because they know that as long as they put a reasonable amount of pressure on the Blackpool sort of defenders and midfield players, they can get some sort of reward from it.
Yeah, nothing like I expected this game. I thought it would be scrappy and probably 0-0 after 25 minutes. Well, it's 2-0 Ipswich. And there are definitely more goals in this game for them. It's going to be alert and sharp at the back. Furlong with a long through, headed on by Kipre. Flying in there was Egley, the player closest to it, but nobody could make connection, and it's out behind for a goal kick to Blackburn, but that could easily have been 3-0.
Oh, without question. I was surprised that Egley actually missed the flight of the ball, but he did.
Real opportunity for Ipswich Town to extend their lead inside the first 26 minutes. Valerian Ismail, the manager of Blackburn, formerly at Barnsley and West Brom in this country, unhappy with something or other. Davis up towards Hurst. Hurst controls it against McLaughlin. Good battle between those two, but then Hurst loses it. Appeals for a free kick, which isn't given. Henriksen infield to Cantwell. Nice little layoff to the right hand side for Ohashi. Ohashi tries to get his cross. It's closed down by Davis. Blackburn corner.
Yeah, if you do take a gamble and play with 2 strikers, that's the type of play you get rewarded from. The 2 forward players are playing very close to each other, and they can work that type of position that they worked, and they've won another corner from it.
26 and a half gone. Town trying to get a 13th win from 26 games this season. 8 draws and 5 defeats just for Ipswich Town. Won more points than any other championship side since the start of November. Ipswich, only Sheffield United have outscored them in that time. They've been upwardly mobile. Cantwell with a corner kick for Blackburn, straight in the hands of Walton. Good keeping. Underarm out to Nunez on the right hand side. Egley's in the central striking position. Philogene far side. Matusiwa's got forward to join in the break. Nunez just checks, waits, hits the ball across the field to Davis, takes it on his chest. Kind of calmed down this attack, but they've still got the ball, albeit it's now with Kipre on halfway. Out to the left-hand side, Leif Davis underneath the Blackburn fans. In comes a good-looking cross towards Nunez. Headed away well by Cashin, who'd come in from the left side of the back 3 to win that header, and he needed to.
Yeah, it was a good run by Nunez, and it was well spotted by Leif Davis. He had to sort of do that early. Leif Davis, that's good. That's a typical player who's playing with what you call his head up. He's not glued to looking at the ball on the ground.
Jack Taylor just doubled up on the far side, having obviously taken a knock. He's okay. He's jogging forward and getting himself back in position just inside Ipswich Town's half of the field. 28 gone, 2-0. Next to an own goal from Cashin, and then Taylor's first of the season. Cantwell playing it around with Gardner Hickman on the far side till Taylor challenges Gardner Hickman. Throw into Blackburn Rovers, 20th in the table, 4 points above the relegation zone at the start. Town start of the day 3rd, 5 points off Middlesbrough. Albeit the gap is now closed to 2 in the live table as Furlong gets the ball back to Walton. Just inside his D, off to our left-hand side. Little lull in proceedings as Walton plays the ball to Philogene. Just miscontrols it. It's out for a throw again to Taylor Gardner Hickman. A few empty seats inside Blackburn's travelling area. I think they've got Swansea away in the week. That's a heck of a couple of games for Blackburn Rovers on their travels. Ipswich on the Saturday, Swansea on the Tuesday night. Baraji loses the ball to Egley in midfield, then Philogene steps in there, gives it back to Kipre. Here is O'Shea, one really good block from him a few moments ago. O'Shea from Ohashi. Furlong towards Egley, straight though to Tronstadt, the number 6, tends to sit in midfield, but now he's had a chance to break forward for Blackburn. Gets the ball out to the right, and Gardner Hickman back goes to Tronstadt, who's a decent player, up to Cantwell. Cantwell gives it back to the halfway line, and McLaughlin. Blackburn in gold with Cashin. Gets it back from Baraji. then finds Deneuve. Here is Cashin once more. A stocky central defender, Aaron Cashin. Doesn't look the tallest. Here is McLaughlin playing as in the middle of the three. Just wanders to halfway. Eventually Blackburn get the ball out to Cantwell on the left-hand side. Cantwell up to Ohashi. Back it goes to Cantwell. Then out to the left-hand side, Deneuve. Deneuve will get on this ball. In comes his cross to the Ipswich area. Walton goes towards it and takes it away from the run of Henriksen.
Yeah, he's taken a couple of nice crosses already, Christian Walton. That's one of his real strengths. He makes his mind up early, doesn't seem to mind how many yards he has to come to the ball, but he does it really well.
As Atchison gets the ball to Henriksen, running at the edge of the Ipswich town area. In he flies on Kipre. Philogene brings the ball away for Ipswich Town. He's held on to it over the halfway line, the former Aston Villa player. Shoulder to shoulder with Baraji. He's got away from Baraji. Then the little pull back towards Egley, touched by Nunez. I think he had to get something on that ball. Nunez gets it back to Matusiwa. Town still pressing for a third goal before half-time. They've got 14 minutes to do it. Davis on the far touchline to Jack Taylor. Everyone bar Christian Walton in the half off to our right, being defended by Blackburn Rovers. Kipre is on the ball, gets it up to Hurst. Hurst loses it to Cantwell. Cantwell to Tronstadt. He's a good player, Cantwell. Two former Norwich players, and Nunez and Cantwell playing kind of number 10 roles, if you like, this afternoon. Here is Cantwell of Blackburn. A little spell at Glasgow Rangers after leaving Norwich City. Did play in a couple of East Anglian derbies, Cantwell. Blackburn have worked that ball well to the halfway line. Tronstadt loses it though. Matusiwa goes in on Ohashi, catches him late, entitled to go for the ball. Ohashi stayed down. Philogene of Ipswich through a little gap to Hurst inside the Blackburn area. Hasn't shot yet. Puts it back to Nunez. In comes Henriksen just as Nunez was about to pull the trigger. Henriksen gets it out behind for a corner.
Yeah, unlucky not to create a really good chance there. Definitely not a foul just inside the Ipswich defensive half. That was a ball that both players quite rightly were allowed to go for.
Cantwell might be complaining to the referee about it, but now is absolutely fine, and thankfully Ohashi is up and okay. Now he's having a little word with the referee. It's corner kick to Ipswich, their third of this game. Leif Davis is on the latest one. Town have got Taylor and Furlong in the 6-yard box off to our right, and it's a line of O'Shea, Kipre, Philogene and Hurst. Davis with a corner for Town. They lead 2-0. Came off of Kipre, who's taken a smack to the face. Looks a little bit dizzy and confused. Cantwell brings it away for Blackburn Rovers. Furlong stayed with it. Cantwell goes down. Play continues. Now the referee's blown up for a foul on Todd Cantwell. Free kick at the back to Blackburn.
No, he invited that for me. I mean, he didn't need to do so much twisting and turning. He was just trying to actually, for me, just anger the crowd a little bit. And in the end, he got the ball away. It was a late challenge, but he caused the problem.
Cashin, left-footed towards halfway. Reaches his fellow countryman Dara O'Shea though. O'Shea gives it away to Deneuve. Referee's blown his whistle. Free kick against Blackburn Rovers, which Larry Ishmael immediately goes to check on his monitor down below us. Still 2-0 Ipswich, both goals coming inside the first 12 minutes. Cashin with an own goal after 3, after a ball in from the left from Nunez, and then Taylor prodding home at very close range after a header from O'Shea had got Tott in a bit of a muddle in the Blackburn goal. Even an injury to one of their goalkeepers. Ainsley Pears played their last league game, Blackburn. Luck's totally out in terms of players missing. And the ball's currently out far side for a throw to Ipswich. Davis is over it. And of course Town also had that terrific effort from Egley earlier on in this game as well. Town really should go on and win this game, the position they've got themselves in and how Blackburn have looked. Walton to his right hand side gives it out to O'Shea. O'Shea looks forward, pings the ball up towards Hurst. Hurst clips it high. Eggley will challenge, but the referee's blown his whistle for a foul on Hurst, who was upended as he sent the ball up into the clouds.
Yeah, it was possibly a challenge from behind, but you know, the ball that was played up to him was a difficult one. There's not a lot a striker can do with that type of ball.
Kipre to Philogene. Philogene yet to have a sight of goal in this game. Scored in his last 2 here, now on 10 for the season. A couple ahead of Jack Clark. Kipre, loose from him to McLaughlin. One touch to Henriksen. Henriksen out to the right-hand side. Gardner-Hickman back to Henriksen. Nice play this from Blackburn down the far side of the field there, right. Great sliding challenge from Taylor just as Henriksen was about to cross. Good work. Really impressive industry from the town number 14.
Yeah, he did really well.
Philogene's gone down. Might need a little bit of treatment from the Ipswich Town bench by the looks of things. As Blackburn, when play resumes, will have a throw. What are you making of the current balance of this game, Mick?
Well, I think it's what it is. You know, I think that we've only got to play not with comfort, but we've got to play sensibly, and it's also a case of possibly Blackburn making some crucial errors will give us the points, you know, if we are patient enough, because they have got a number of mistakes in them. You know, they play some nice tidy stuff at times, but then make a crucial mistake, and you know, we've just got to be patient, and we've got to be ruthless with it when it comes. When that opportunity comes, we've got to be really ruthless. Don't settle on 2-0, or if the third one comes, don't settle on that. Just keep plugging away, and I really at the moment I can see nothing but a comfortable victory.
Philogene, I was a bit concerned about him, but he's now up on his feet and looks like he's going to be okay to continue. Not a bad replacement to have up your sleeve in Jack Clark, though, it has to be said. The envy of pretty much probably every other Championship manager to have that kind of strength and depth on that side of the field. Clark out in his red bib underneath us, but I don't think he's going to be needed. Matt Byard and co just doing final checks on Philogene far side. For the moment, Town down to 10. Can Blackburn capitalise and get a goal in this first half? Baraji to Ahashi, back to Baraji, thought about curling it towards the far corner, didn't have the confidence. Cleared away by Furlong. McLaughlin along the floor to Denev down this left hand side. The number 14 gives it back to Tronstadt. Tronstadt's the edge of the area. Baraji, no big target for Blackburn to hit in areas like that. Eggley tried to skip away from Cashin. Cashin with a strong challenge, got the ball. Here is McLaughlin. Cantwell. Philogene still not quite ready to come back on the far side. Not walking with complete comfort, but he's going to be all right, I think. Town at the moment keeping Blackburn at arm's length. The ball on the halfway line. That'll suit these 9 outfield players of Ipswich Town. Cashin plays the ball back to Baraji. Can't work out whether Philogene is going to come back on or whether he's walking back round to the tunnel. I think he's going to come off.
I think so.
That's it for him by the looks of things. I don't know where Jack Clark's disappeared off to, but he's going to be needed.
Yeah, I think he would have just stepped back on the pitch on the far side,
yeah.
You know, but he's I think he's making his way to the dressing room. Pretty sure he is. Let's have a look at...
Jack Clark was nowhere near being ready to come on, but now he's having to get himself harried. At the moment, little break and play. Darnell Furlong's down on all fours outside the Ipswich Town penalty area. 6.5 minutes to go until half-time.
Yeah, Kieran McKenna has just called Clark down.
On will come Clark, who was a contender for man of the match last week. Greaves got it, and he did do very well, the centre-half, but Clark was excellent in the number 10 role. Was where Jack Clark played against Blackpool, but he's going to come on and get probably an hour's worth of action when all's said and done. 6 minutes of regular time at the end of this first half to go. There'll be a fair bit added on, I would have thought. Goal kick to Walton off the floor, off to our left-hand side. Clark has replaced Philogene. Hurst trying to make the header. Baraji gets onto the loose ball in midfield. Back it goes to Cashin. Ask Kieran McKenna about not just that injury, but also those to Chuba Akpom and Casey McAteer that have kept them out of the reckoning this afternoon when we speak to him at full time. Matthew Siwa clips Baraji.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah, he was. Well, the referee having a little word with Azor Matusiwa. Yeah, it would be gutting if he gets his 10th yellow of the season this afternoon and misses going up against Sam Morsey on Tuesday night. A lot of people will be looking forward to that battle. As it's played forward by Atchison, he's on a caution already. Ball out far side for a throw to Ipswich. A little quiet period in this game at the moment, but Town 2-0 ahead 5 minutes before half time. Davis with a throw for Ipswich Town. Town's next away game in a week's time at Bramall Lane. That'll be a very different test to when Town walloped them here under Chris Wilder. Furlong fires a ball to the right hand side. Eggley. Town on the counter. Eggley comes in field, might have a go from 25 yards. He does, but it's a very simple one. Create at top, didn't meet it with anywhere near the power he would have wished to.
Yeah, I don't think the space really opened up for him, and I think that he should have loaned the ball to Jack Clark. You know, he was coming off the left side, and I think, you know, he got to a point where, no, a shot is not on, let's progress the play.
Good opportunity for Clark in this game, and potentially Tuesday night. His feet well and truly under the table and in this Ipswich Town League side. Nunez still doing well in the number 10 role. Clark tripped. He just tried to trick his way between a couple of gold shirts. Free kick on the far side to Ipswich Town. 3-0 and this game's surely dead and buried. Leif Davis getting a word from Dara O'Shea before he takes this free kick. It's a long way out. 35-36 yards plus from goal over on the far side of the field as Clark just gets another opportunity to tie up his bootlaces. Davis on this left-footed free kick for Ipswich Town, attacking the Blackburn goal off to our right for the next 3 minutes of this first half. Davis puts this one in low. O'Shea went to meet it. It's come off a Hashi. Town have got a fourth corner of the half.
Yeah, he did well, O'Shea. You know, he's going with a real sort of pacey run there, a determined run, and the defender who's really close to him. Once O'Shea missed the ball, the defender had to make contact with it, and it was obviously going to go out for a corner kick.
Blackburn marginally edging possession in this game, but only just 51-49%. Town with the bulk of the efforts on goal. Clark with this corner kick beat the first man but not the second, headed away by Baraji. Davis lifts it back to Matusiwa on his own in the centre circle. He's closed down by Ohashi, but quicker than he expected. He manages to get the ball back towards Walton. O'Shea still up front from the original set-piece challenges McLaughlin. Denev tidies up back towards Cashin, who drops a shoulder, gets away from Nunez, up towards the halfway line. Cashin tries to thread it through a little gap to Baraji. Matusiwa stepped in there. Eggley got it back onto the chest of Furlong. Ball's gone out of play off of Darnell Furlong, says the referee. Throw to Blackburn Rovers, which Cashin is going to be taken. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Matusiwa with the foul on Baraji. Just got to watch Matusiwa. It's a couple of challenges, both on Baraji, that have been blown up against. Neither worthy of a yellow card, but we know how the referees kind of top these things up. Cantwell with a chance to create from distance for Blackburn Rovers with his orange boots on. They'll be delighted if they can get in at half-time, just 2-1 down. They're going to try and create their first goal of the game. Cantwell places it into the Ipswich Town area, headed away well by Kipre. There's only one person who's going to win that. Blackburn get a chance to recycle with Tronstadt. Gets away from Clark, has a go deflected, and it's just wide. Thankfully, Town got a bit fortunate there. Walton wouldn't have got it. He was completely wrong-footed. It's out for a corner kick to Blackburn, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, we just allowed the player to step inside too easily and too freely, and his ball that was really thumped into the penalty area caused a problem.
We're about to be told how much added on time there's going to be at the end of this first half. Blackburn have a corner kick, and it comes from Cantwell. There's a header back towards Cantwell. Cantwell for Blackburn. Edge there, Tronstadt bursts into the box. Nunez slips. Tronstadt hasn't done much with the ball just yet. Pulls it square towards Gardner Hickman, who hits into a crowd of bodies. It deflects away. out on this near side for a throw to Blackburn. Tronstadt will take it back towards Denav, and now Todd, the goalkeeper, out of his area. Eggley closes him down. Todd gives it to the left, and Tronstadt. Todd Cantwell. 2 minutes of added on time to be played at the end of this first half, largely because of 2 goal celebrations on the injury to Philogene, which saw him trudge off down the tunnel. Cantwell to Gardner-Hickman, looking to find Ohashi with the ball in field, but it was well read by Kipre. Davis gives it back to Walton. Walton clears up towards Hurst. 3 of the 4 League One team survivors for Ipswich Town now at the club are in this starting lineup. Hurst, Davis and Walton. There's only Wes Burns, and he's on the bench now that Harry Clark and Cameron Humphreys have gone on loan in the last few days. O'Shea trying to win his first promotion with Ipswich Town in the next 5 months. Gives the ball to Darnell Furlong. Down the line to George Hurst. Got lots of praise, George Hurst, from Alan Judge alongside me last week in the role that George does in the team. Henriksen. Terrible pass from Henriksen. Ball's out far side when he should have done a lot better with it. Final minute of the first half.
Yeah, they've looked quite tidy in possession, but then they get to a sort of point where maybe the game becomes a little bit too difficult for them, but they haven't given up. I mean, they're 2-0 down. They could easily have got a little bit distraught the way the goals came.
Wayward pass from Marcelino Nunez, throw into Blackburn. Got 30 seconds to get a first half goal. Cashin, they won't any time soon because the ball's back with Top just outside of his penalty area. He finds Atchison. Infield from Cashin. Good spot. Tronstadt. Square. Seconds are ticking away though. Pretty much at the end of this first half now. It's now and ever for Blackburn. Atchison steps over halfway to his right hand side. Gardner-Hickman. Very much the last few seconds of this first period. Town 2-0 up. Blackburn unable to get the ball into the box off to our left, and nor will they in this first period. There is the half-time whistle from Mr. Kitchen, and Ipswich Town will head down the tunnel, leading Blackburn Rovers by 2-0.
Yeah, it's really sort of, I think the game sort of took its shape very, very early in that half, when it was very apparent that Blackburn were okay. They opened the game with most of the ball, and they looked neat, tidy. Their possession play in sort of certain areas of the pitch was good, but then they sort of consistently for the first 5 to 10 minutes made sort of an error when they were in possession of the ball, and the error often was quite a bad one, and we were able to seize upon it and do something with it and create sort of danger to Blackburn, and consequently we've got ourselves 2 goals in front from 2 errors. And it for me is a comfortable game. I keep saying I do like Blackburn in possession when they're initially sort of mounting an attack, but they don't look as if they are really capable of opening us up. The biggest threat for me, as far as Town are concerned, is passing out from the back. They are being confronted by a rarity nowadays where this Blackburn Rovers play with 2 out-and-out strikers. So our 2 centre-halves are often occupied when Christian Walton has the ball safely at his feet. But he seems to be hell-bent on playing out short when the opportunity is not really clear-cut. And he's tried to do it 3 or 4 times, and it has caused a bit of a panic at the back, between our centre-halves and Matazua, and we haven't really sort of come out cleanly with it, so sometimes you've got to just say, no, I'll ignore that for a short spell of the game, and I'll start hitting the front, I'll start hitting the touchline players. And then what you will find is that the 2 strikers will start to get a little bit lazy. They'll start thinking, no, he's not going to come out short. I can just sit back off the strikers now, and then, okay, Christian, play the ball to the centre backs now that they've been freed. You've got to play with your own head sometimes, not just Kieran McKenna's head, which is often the case where you get briefed so much on the training ground that you forget that sometimes your decision on the day is the best way to go, And for me, that's the only problem we've got in this game. I know Blackburn came nicely, sort of maybe started to sort of, if you like, dominate the exchanges late in that half, but a good sound performance by Town. This should go from 2-0 to a better scoreline, not a worse scoreline, a better one.
Yeah, fingers crossed that is the case. But so far so good here in this 12:30 kickoff at Portman Road. Ipswich Town lead Blackburn Rovers by 2-0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Leicester leading the leaders Coventry by a 0-0. Coventry looking to end a run of 4 games without a win in the Championship, but it's Jordan James who's given the away side the half-time lead in that one. They're still playing in the first half at Vicarage Road into a 7th minute of added on time. Watford aiming to make it 5 wins in a row in the league, currently goalless with Millwall. One lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League. It is half-time in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. Great game, great atmosphere, great derby to be fair. Mark, you said it earlier on, chances, loads of edge, lots of noise, feisty, but ultimately no goals. United have had 2 disallowed for offside though. Ahmad rounded the keeper the first time, Bruno Fernandes the second time. On both occasions the flag went up on this near side. City have gone close through Semenyo and Max Alain, while Bernardo Silva has put a header over the crossbar. Dalot lucky to stay on for a high and late tackle on Doku early in the half. That ended up as just a yellow.
On the way during our half-time break, we will hear from Kim Hellberg and Eric Ramsey after last night's fixture in the Championship ended in a 3-2 win for Middlesbrough away at West Brom.
BBC introduces
So chilled out.
a beautiful track.
Really heartfelt. Loving the energy on this one. It really builds.
One of my favourite tracks of the year.
You can hear catchy hooks and good vibes.
Bringing those anthemic sounds we all need.
A real proper journey. A blend of
Deep house.
dance, pop goodness.
You can hear the emotion.
Whatever the style, whatever the genre,
This
is the place where new music lives.
BBC introducing.
Find the best new music from where you live.
From where you live
On BBC Sounds.
on BBC Sounds.
Just search BBC Introducing Suffolk.
It's Graham Mack with Matchday on BBC Radio Suffolk with you through until 6 p.m. A reminder what we have so far in the Championship. Ipswich Town leading Blackburn Rovers by 2-0 in our main feature. We'll be back with Brenna Woolley and Mick Mills at Portman Road for the second half shortly. Leaders Coventry trailing 1-0 at home to Leicester. Watford 0, Millwall 0 in the Premier League. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0 at half-time. Fourth in the Championship, Preston face Derby at Deepdale in one of 7 3 o'clock kickoffs we'll have our eyes on this afternoon. They also include Hull away at Southampton and an informed Wrexham side at home to Norwich. Like Watford, Wrexham aiming for a 5th consecutive league win this afternoon. If Manchester City win that Premier League derby at Old Trafford this afternoon, they'll close the gap on leaders Arsenal to 3 points. Arsenal away to Nottingham Forest in the day's late game at 5:30. There are 5 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League today. Liverpool at home to Burnley, Brentford away at Chelsea, Tottenham host West Ham this afternoon, Leeds at home to Fulham, and Sunderland take on Crystal Palace at the Stadium of Light. On the non-league front, all 4 of Suffolk's Southern Premier League teams have home matches this afternoon. Needham Market, 5th in the Central Division, face Stratford at Bloomfields. Nick Garnham will be at that one for us this afternoon, while Russell Claydon watches Bury Town take on Bromsgrove at Ram Meadow. AFC Sudbury, 3rd bottom and 3 points from safety, welcome Harborough Town to the Elite Travel Stadium this afternoon. Leiston have reignited their push for the playoffs ahead of their match with Stourbridge at Victory Road today. In the Isthmian North Division, Felixstowe Walter United back on top of the table ahead of their trip to Brightlingsea this afternoon. Lowestoft are at home to Mildenhall. Gary Button covering that one for us in Matchday. Newmarket Town entertain Galston. The Jockeys aiming to end a 4-match losing streak in League and Cup, and Brantham Athletic will try again for that first league win of the campaign at home to Downham. Away from football, Bury St Edmunds rugby players visit Esher today in National League League 2 East. The Wolfpack unbeaten in the last 5 matches. Also today, Sudbury are in action in London and South East Division 1. They travel to Hertford. In basketball, Ipswich women face London Cavaliers at Copleston later. Their Division 1 match gets underway at 3 o'clock. And it's semi-finals day at the Masters Snooker. Judd Trump and John Higgins are playing this afternoon. Trump's about to take the opening frame in that one. Kyron Wilson and Wu Yeezer are in action this evening. Back to last night in the Championship then at Middlesbrough. 3-2 winners away at West Bromwich Albion. Substitute Delano Bergzorg scoring a 90th minute winner as Borough moved within 3 points of Coventry with a dramatic victory at the Hawthorns. It was West Brom's first game under new head coach Eric Ramsey. An own goal just before half-time from Albion defender Charlie Taylor, and a second strike in 2 league games from Sam Silvera just before the hour have put Borough in complete control, only for the Baggies to rally brilliantly with 2 goals in 5 minutes. But Bergzorg drilled home his first goal since August to claim what could be a crucial 3 points in the hunt for promotion to the Premier League. We'll hear from the new Baggies boss Eric Ramsey in a moment, but first at Middlesbrough's Kim Hellberg, who was asked at full time how his heart rate was.
Oh, it's good now, but it was up and down, of course. Emotions and the best of football, like when you can win those type of games, I think that is the best feeling you can have, playing on a Friday night away from home against a very good team, and you get home with the win and you can enjoy the weekend.
For 70 minutes you must have felt, we've got this under control, and then the game went mad.
Yeah, I've something like that. I think the first 10 I'm disappointed with in terms of they getting out with a lot of second balls to get some cross into the box. They have one chance where we lose it from the throw in, but not so many chances, but get momentum, some crosses, some corners. So first 10 a little bit disappointed with that. Then I think for, I agree, 60 minutes we are very, very good, active playing, brave, controlling the game, making them defend their own box all the time. They can almost get out of their own penalty box for a while. I think that is unbelievable strong to do away from home, even when we won one up. So yeah, and then it's football. They get a free kick, they score on the free kick, the game and the place gets mad, and they score on the next chance, and it's 2-2, and that the game is open again, and of course for opens up, and then I think it just tells everything about this group. Away from home, tough game. They have lost 1 of 9, and you go and score a winner. In that way, we're scoring it. It's not a coincidence. It's a play through their team. Brilliant run from Della. Brilliant last pass. It's top quality on that attack. Keeping compulsion in the 90 minutes. I think that is says everything about this group.
Kim Hellberg, the Middlesbrough boss, speaking after his side's 3-2 win at West Brom last night. As we mentioned, a first game in charge of the Baggies for Eric Ramsey, ending in defeat.
I feel disappointed, of course, but I knew that tonight was only ever going to be a point where we can start taking information about what the players are able to do and not able to do, what's comfortable, what's not. So it's impossible to not feel at the end of the game like it's an outcome that's tough to swallow. But I know there was some real good in that performance, and I know when we watch it back we'll be able to grab onto a lot of good stuff to take forward into Tuesday.
Because it seemed when you got to 2-2 there was only going to be one winner.
Yeah, and I felt that way exactly, but it's worth keeping in mind we're playing against a top team, we're playing against a team that's where they are for a reason, and I think for us, as the game gets slightly stretched toward the end, and you get a sense of it is going to come to a conclusion for one of us, and it's not going to get to 95 minutes without there being another goal scored, where we risked and didn't make the most of the chances that we had. We came unstuck at the top of the box for a lack of discipline that wasn't lacking for most of the game, so that's disappointing. But the connection that we built with the crowd, the energy, the positivity, they were the important things tonight.
Concession of late goals was a problem previously. Is that something that you can overcome quickly?
I'd like to think so. I don't think any coach has a magic button that they can push in that sense. It's about concentration, it's about discipline, it's about us reading the game well and making changes well, and ultimately it's about sticking to the game plan in spite of how the game feels and the nature of the crowd and how that influences things. So I felt like it was two sides to that coin today. We used that really well in the second half, and that was so important. But as the game swung seemingly in our favour, we just lacked that real discipline that we weren't lacking in the first half. So there was frustration across all 3 goals, but I think largely more good than bad, I would say.
Eric Ramsey speaking after his first game in charge of West Brom last night ended in a 3-2 defeat at home to Middlesbrough. So far in the Championship today, half-time at Vicarage Road, Watford 0, Millwall 0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, leaders Coventry trailing Leicester City by 1-0. And in our main feature, things going very well for Ipswich Town. We'll be back at Portman Road in just a moment for the second half.
Town trying for a 6th consecutive win here in all competitions. Nunez gets the ball out to the left and Philogene. Back to the Chilean Nunez inside the area. Low ball across the face of goal, deflected into the net. It's Cashin on his league debut for Blackburn Rovers. What a nightmare for him after 3 minutes. He tucks the ball beyond Tot. It was a fine finish from the Irishman and gives Ipswich Town a 1-0 lead in bizarre circumstances. Furlong. Wide right to Nunez, good ball from the fullback. Nunez, edge of the area, knocks it into the middle looking for Hurst, headed away as far as Eggerly! Oh, what a hit from Eggerly! Brilliant save by Tot. That would have been another contender for goal of the season because he met it beautifully off his left foot, edge of the 18-yard area, volleyed it, it was arrowed towards the top corner, and the goalkeeper did terrifically well. And Ipswich Town's second corner kick of this game, which they lead 1-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Many bodies in blue in the box off to our right hand side. In comes the curler from the Chilean towards the far post, nodded down by O'Shea, saved by Tot, and it's poked in. Town get their second goal. Jack Taylor seems to lead the celebrations. O'Shea is in the mix as well. What we can say with absolute certainty is that Ipswich Town have made the dream start. 12 minutes on the clock and they're already 2-0 up against Blackburn Rovers. That could well be Jack Taylor's first goal of the season. Furlong with a long through, headed on by Kipre. Flying in there was Eggerly, the player closest to it, but nobody could make connection, and it's out behind for a goal kick to Blackburn. That could easily have been 3-0.
I volunteer as tribute.
Films on BBC iPlayer.
From District 12.
I never asked for this. I never asked to be in the games.
The Hunger Games collection.
May the odds be ever in your favour.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
A reminder, your calls welcome at full time on the usual number 0800. We're on air right the way through until 6 with Match Day, so we'll round up the in the Championship, the Premier League, around the grounds locally. We'll also hear from Ipswich basketball captain Harriet Wellham and Suffolk's world heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley in this afternoon's programme. Let's go back to Portman Road. Ipswich Town 2 goals to the good. We're all set for the second half, as are Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley.
Blackburn making a change. They've been out here for the last, well, probably a couple of minutes, really. And Ipswich Town now finally just come out of the tunnel. Jorgensen, number 29, is coming on for his debut. A Danish striker brought in from Bodo Glimt in the last 24 hours. Number 29 on his back. He's replacing Axel Henriksen, who, as I mentioned in the first half, didn't have a particularly good first half, but had a lot of strapping on one of his legs. But I'd imagine it's just because Blackburn are 2-0 down rather than any injury to Henriksen. So there's confirmation of the change. Town in front of Christian Walton, still the same 10 that ended that half. Town had to swap Philogene, who was injured, for Clark during it. So Walton in the goal off to our right, a back four of Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Davis. Matusiwa is playing alongside Taylor, who got a goal, Taylor, in that first half. Then it's Eggerly on the right, Nunez in the middle, Clark underneath us down the left, and Hurst. First we've seen of him since Sheffield Wednesday. He's back in the team up top. On the bench, Palmer, Greaves, Johnson, Young, Kayuste, Burns, Smoddocks and Athon. No Akpom or McAteer because of injury. Tot is in all green off to our left, the keeper of Blackburn. A back three of Atchison on a yellow, McLaughlin and Cashin. And across the park, Gardner-Hickman, Cantwell, Tronstadt, Baraji and Denav. And that's a front two of Jorgensen and Ohashi. On the bench for Blackburn, Mikalski, Pickering, Ribeiro, O'Riordan, Pratt, Forshaw, Doherty, Howell. And that's it, so both sides have now made one change apiece since we got underway at 12:30 live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Cashin with an own goal, and then then Taylor with a tap in. That's where we are. 2-0 Town, who immediately are on the front foot. Hurst to Clark. Clark can't get the better of Baraji. Blackburn playing it around on the edge of their area, given away by Tronstadt. Likewise, Davis gives it back to Tronstadt. Blackburn clear from behind right back. It's Atchison who curls the ball down the line. Good little header and field from Kipre. Matusiwa just manages to sort out his feet and his balance. Clark, though, threads it back well to O'Shea on halfway as the sunshine comes out. It's lovely conditions for football here at Portman Road. They had the sprinklers on again at half-time. Walton in all orange gives the ball to Kipre. Kipre up to Clark on halfway. Taylor with a loose touch. Gardner Hickman in field. O'Shea gets there ahead of Ohashi and passes it to Davis. Davis first time in field to Clark. Clark loose with his attempted pass for Furlong. Both sides been very generous with possession in this first 90 seconds.
Yeah, he had a choice or two there, Clark. There was the ball to Nunes or Furlong, but he chose the wrong one for me. I think it was a Nunes ball.
Walton offers himself up for Davis, who's in a bit of a cul-de-sac. Davis used him. Walton's effort clears the ball down the line and out on this near side of the field for a throw to Blackburn Rovers, who've won 1 of their last 11 games. 7 draws in there and 3 defeats. They've been the draw specialists of this division. Blackburn Rovers haven't been losing too many games and haven't been conceding too many goals either. As I said earlier on, just 10 goals conceded away from home all season. The tightest away defence at this level, but conceded twice inside the first 12 minutes, and Town have had other chances, although none too clear cut since then. Here is O'Shea at the back, gives the ball to Kipre. Kipre spreads it along the edge of the Ipswich Town penalty area to Furlong over in the far corner. Furlong goes down the line looking for Nunez. Town win it with Matusiwa. Eggley into the centre circle, nudged to the ground by Baraji. The referee, Mr. Kitchen, was no more than a few yards away.
Yeah, some sort of poor play really. First of all by Kipre, the ball that he gave across the park towards Furlong was awful, and then we came out quite nicely from there, and then we made another sort of, or Blackburn made another mistake, beautifully read by Jack Taylor, and then we gave it away again.
Taylor, and this free kick on halfway, gives it back to O'Shea. It's been a scrappy start to this second half. 3 minutes gone, but Town still 2 goals to the good. Eggley runs into traffic, showed too much of the ball to Cashin, who's back on it on the far side of the field. Aaron Cashin. Now Tronstadt rolls the ball across his back 3. Atchison gets it from McLaughlin. Back it goes to McLaughlin. Plenty of possession in the back 3 at the moment for Blackburn Rovers. Cashin finds a route out to the far side and Denev. Then Cashin hits it forward, trying to get Jorgensen involved for the first time on his debut. He'll be hoping to have a better debut than poor Aaron Cashin did with that own goal after 3 minutes, but Cashin has settled down pretty well. Here is Walton. Did have a season on loan at Blackburn a few years ago. Hurst held up by McLaughlin. Referee gives the decision the way of the Ipswich Town forward.
Yeah, that was a nice sensible ball from Christian Walton. He was almost telling George Hurst, just, I'm going to drop this right into you and just come towards the ball.
One of Valerian Ishmael's staff whinging to the 4th official down below us. That might be Dean Whitehead, former Sunderland player. Certainly got a look of him. Davis, poor, straight to Baraji. Town have been a bit messy with their passing early in the second half. Cantwell loses the ball. Nunez takes it off of him, then beats his man. Excellent from Nunez. Threads it through to Hurst. Hurst had the chance to hit it first time. He's pulled it back to Clark instead. Now the moment is gone. Oh, maybe a little bit of rust from George Hurst there, but it was an opportunity. Play continues with a throw-in. Clark to Davis. Davis with a cross into the box towards Nunez. Tries the acrobatic, turns and hits it on the ground. Eggley! His left footer is blocked by Cashin. Over the bar it goes. A couple of chances for a third Ipswich Town goal there.
Yeah, if it's a difficult opportunity, we do okay. If it's an easy one, we don't do so well. The George Hurst one was really just a 2-touch scene, you know, control, shoot, and I think he might have had a chance of scoring, but I mean, that chance there, you know, he's completely on the floor there, Nunez, but he does okay with it in the end, and he forces a save.
5 minutes gone in the second half. Town have a chance to go 3-0 ahead, and surely that is that in terms of the 3 points if they can against this struggling Blackburn side. Leif Davis on this set piece off to our left hand side, headed away by Baraji, nodded by Kipre, then Clark gets underneath it towards the goal, but top goes over the top of Furlong to catch it and snuff out any potential threat to his goal. Top throws the ball onto the chest of Gardner-Hickman. First time forward he goes towards Ohashi. Good shout from O'Shea. Matusiwa ducked under the ball and the captain took charge. Now Matusiwa has it at his feet. Gives it to Nunez, who's had a good game. Excellent play from Nunez. Back to Matusiwa. Egley's making a run on the right-hand side. Matusiwa finds him. Cutting in field for Ipswich Town. Low ball to the edge of the box and Hurst. Hurst gives it to Nunez. Nunez to Clark. This would be some goal. Clark hits it. Saved by Totov to his left-hand side. Brilliant play from Ipswich Town that. Here is Egley, wide right. Town recycling. Still has the ball. Egley square to Taylor outside the box. Doesn't control it. Eventually prods it looking for Davis. Gardner-Hickman gets it away to the halfway line.
Yeah, it was good play. The finish was decent finish, but I think that he pretty much told the goalkeeper where he was going to go with it, and the goalkeeper read it very, very well.
In the 7th minute of the second half, Taylor to Clark on halfway. Clark loses out to a triangle of gold-shirted players. Matusiwa gets it back. In flies Tronstadt. Jack Clark's back header has to be dealt with by Kipre. He brings it down, then feeds it back towards Christian Walton. Walton inside his 6-yard area. Goes to the far side and Furlong. That should be cleared by O'Shea, and we can hear about other news from Graham.
Yeah, Ellis Sims for Coventry. They're level with Leicester now at 1-1.
Denev gets the ball into the Ipswich area, cleared away out on the far side for a throw into Blackburn underneath their supporters. Cashin to Tronstadt, still 2-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Blackburn working it well down that left-hand side. Denev infloats his cross, might come all the way to Gardner-Hickman, not quite. Town defended it well. Atchison tries to get Blackburn going again. He gives it to Baraji, 30 yards from goal. The number 24 comes in field, left-footed, has a go, deflected off a couple of players. It breaks to Ohashi inside the area. Davis has defended well. Ohashi gets back up to his feet, but he fouled Leif Davis. Free kick to Town inside their penalty area.
Yeah, he allowed them to come inside too freely to get this first shot away, you know, but that, in the end, that was good defending there, because there was a real threat down the left, our left-hand side, the Blackburn right. Davis did okay in the end, but it's a little bit scrappy. It's not as clear-cut as I would like it to be. I still believe that we are a much better side than Blackburn, and we have more capability about us, and we've really got to keep working, because, you know, the third goal in this game, you know, is so important. It really is. If you go 3-0 in front, you know, it's almost job done. If the Blackburn come back to 2-1, it just makes you think for a little while.
Blackburn just the one win in the last 8 meetings against Ipswich Town. Town actually unbeaten in the last 10 here in all competitions against Blackburn, albeit 6 of them have been drawn. In fact, Blackburn's last win here was November 94, so it's 31 years ago, when they were on their way to the Premier League title, of course, and it was Sutton and Shearer plus Tim Sherwood who got their goals. So far so good for Ipswich Town this afternoon in this 12:30 kickoff live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Just a reminder of the numbers to get in touch after this one when I go downstairs to speak to Kieran McKenna, and hopefully an Ipswich Town player as well. You can call 0800 141 2121, text 81333, start those messages SFK, or WhatsApp 08000 321 333, also start those SFK. And if you want to be involved in Monday's Blue Hour show here on BBC Radio Suffolk, I'm on air every Monday night between 6 and 7, talking all things Ipswich Town. Hopefully a win this afternoon, and the women through to the next round of their FA Cup. They've got Sheffield United at Felixstowe tomorrow, so don't go to watch them in Colchester tomorrow. They're at Felixstowe tomorrow afternoon. The email address to get in touch with me ahead of Monday is brenner@bbc.co.uk. We'll also look ahead to the Bristol City game on Tuesday night in the final 10 minutes or so of Monday's Blue Hour. Played back underway here at Portman Road. Unlike Jayden Philogene in the first half, Leif Davis is going to be able to come back on, although he's off the pitch at the moment. Nunez to Matusiwa. Furlong's first touch was a bit heavy, and his second one, a recovery one, couldn't find Waller Egley on the far side. It's out for a throw to Cashin of Blackburn. Just 10 gone in the second half. As Graham was saying, it's now 1-1 between Leicester and Coventry. I think we would have probably accepted that scoreline before proceedings. Ball up towards Jorgensen. Again, good interception from Dara O'Shea. Town trying to hold on to a Another clean sheet. They've only conceded 3 goals in their last 7 games here. This will be a 5th clean sheet in 8 for Ipswich Town. O'Shea, good ball from the captain to Egley. 1-on-1 with Cashin, far side. Cashin beats him. Dodgy first touch from Egley, in all honesty. He's trying to win it back, and he might well have done. Yes, he has. Good work from Egley. Gets it back towards Matusiwa. Short layoff from Matusiwa before Cantwell could get there. Not good from Nunez. There is Baraji. Not much of a spectacle at the moment, this one. Ahashi almost ran into trouble. Gets the ball back to Atchison, who passes it away from Gardner-Hickman. Out it goes. Davis with a through to Taylor. Taylor up towards Hurst. Hurst lays it off to Clark on the left-hand side. Comes in field, edge of the box, slips it towards Egley. Now Nunez, right-footed ball into the Blackburn area, controlled by Baraji. That was risky. He's touching it back towards his own goal. Got away with it, and it's Tronstadt who runs away with the ball for Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, he almost created something by changing, going from left to right, but I thought Jack Clark should have just waited for that run of Leif Davis, because that was a really good overlapping run.
Gardner-Hickman forward towards Jorgensen. Good positioning from Walton. Gets on the ball ahead of the Dane and then throws it to Davis. Davis up towards Hurst. Good interception from McLaughlin, getting there before Hurst. Blackburn on the right-hand side with Jorgensen. They'll have been stung by that late equaliser from Egley at Ewood Park. Still a fair bit of football to go in this one. Maybe more changes from the Blackburn bench, looking like a possibility. I also wonder when Ivan Athon will replace George Hurst. It's bound to happen at some point in the next 10 minutes, one would have thought. Atchison to Gardner-Hickman. Gardner-Hickman gives it straight to Kipre. Kipre first time up towards Hurst. That was good play. Nice spin from Hurst. He feeds Egley. Egley into the Blackburn area. A chance for a third goal. Comes in field. Goes square to Nunez. Back heel from him is wasted. Kieran McKenna's not happy. Egley shoots. Deflected off a Blackburn defender. Again, Town with chances to kill off this game. Furlong to Egley. Back to Furlong wide right. High, deep cross from him. It's gone all the way towards Leif Davis's battle with Gardner-Hickman. Gardner-Hickman heads the ball down. Leif's done very well to give it back to Clark. Then Taylor. The crowd want him to shoot. He rolls it to Hurst, who rather tackled himself. That was a comical moment. Don't know what on earth happened to George Hurst there. Should have collected the ball very cleanly. Somehow ended up on the deck with no one that close to him. Blackburn have it on halfway with Tronstadt.
Yeah, we're not quite doing the job, are we?
No.
We're getting into good positions to create chances, but we go no further than that, and as I keep saying, the third one is really crucial. It can make your day so much easier if you just can get this third goal.
Blackburn with Cantwell inside his half, goes back to his goalkeeper Tott. Must be frustrated, Kieran McKenna, as Matusiwa plays the ball towards Furlong. It's gone out of play far side for a throw-in to Ipswich Town, which Furlong will take. Greaves, Burns, Kiyuste all out in their red bibs at the moment. I think Athon must be down by the corner flag. Just blocked off by a row of cameras down in front of us here at Portman Road. Furlong's throw finds Clark. A couple of keepy-uppy touches from him, and he goes back to Furlong. Furlong tries to find Nunez, who's unlucky. Cashin slid in there and got the ball to Gardner-Hickman. Gardner-Hickman's a good ball forward to Jorgensen. First time the tall 29-year-old the Danes had it on his debut. Runs into Kipre. Kipre comes away with the ball relatively comfortably. Gives it back to Davis. Real fans' favourite, Cedric Kipre. Walton with a little bit of disguise plays it short to Kipre when they look to thunder it to halfway. Kipre to Taylor, things opening up. Taylor driving him halfway. There's lots of open ground in front of him. He then gives it to Hurst, possibly his last little involvement in this game maybe. Hurst wide left, takes a nudge in the back from Atchison, gives it back to Davis. Davis in field to Matusiwa. He finds Furlong. Town have it over on the right hand side with Egley outside the Blackburn area. Furlong overlaps. Egley comes in field. Left-footed crosses, headed away though by a Blackburn defender. Town can have another go from the centre circle. O'Shea. The crowd get behind Ipswich Town. They need it at the moment. Kipre to Clark. On watch Kieran McKenna and Martin Pert side by side down below us. Matusiwa looks up, gives the ball to the right. Eggerly tight to that far touchline, little step over, tries to get away from Deneuve, gets to the dead ball line and wins a corner.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where we really have to do better. Just prior to winning this corner, we had a cross coming in from the right. We actually had 5 blue shirts in the penalty area, and it didn't go near any one of them, you know, so we have really got to do better with our final ball.
Full match commentary on Tuesday night of Ipswich Town versus Bristol City, as Davis gets ready to take this corner kick. Of course, there might well be a certain Egyptian midfielder in the visitors' midfield on Tuesday night. He will get a terrific reception, Sam Morsey, when he comes back here. I think Bristol City fans, from what I've read in that part of the world, have already taken to him. Davis plays the corner kick short to Clark, back to Nunez. Nunez curling ball into the air is dealt with by the flying body of Baraji. Heads it away as far as Matusiwa. He gives it to Nunez. Nunez looks to the right-hand side, and Davis over there at the moment. Davis might lose the ball, yes he does. Chance for a break from Blackburn Rovers. They're 4-on-2 at the moment. It's Jorgensen on his debut. He's got goal side inside the Ipswich Town area. Plays a square. Ohashi goes down in the box under a challenge from Furlong. Did he? It's out behind. That's a really messy bit of play. Ohashi can't believe he's not been given a penalty kick. The referee totally uninterested in those appeals.
The referee was uninterested in making a personal decision. He just constantly looked at the linesman for any indication whatsoever, and he shouldn't do that. I mean, the linesman's in an okay position, but the referee's in a better position, so he should make the decision. It was touch and go, it really was, and it all came from a mistake by Leif Davis, and I'm not sure whether Leif Davis is genuinely injured or he's just embarrassed about the poor bit of play he produced there, because he shouldn't have conceded possession. He did, and it opened up a possibility for Blackburn, and ironically that's the area that they attacked, the vacated left back position.
He's back up on his feet, Davis, seeing this yet again, only from behind. The suggestion is that Furlong pushed Ohashi, but the reaction of the other players in goal down there weren't half a dozen or more of them ran straight after the referee, absolutely infuriated, and they didn't automatically believe that it was a nailed-on penalty. Protests were few and far between, which would suggest that the referee got that one right, and it's still 2-0, but it was 4-on-2 at that stage in Blackburn's favour. Should have maybe done better. Baraji against Taylor gives the ball to Deneuve. Not much of a spectacle this second half. 18.5 minutes gone. Matusiwa nudges Cantwell to the deck. Free kick to Blackburn far side.
It's not a good spell, this, for Town.
No.
You know, it's too even Steven. It's end to end. No side is particularly dominating, but we should be.
On halfway, McLaughlin plays it forward for Blackburn. O'Shea nods the ball down to Furlong. Matusiwa loses out to Cantwell. Deneuve for Blackburn to Ohashi. Has Jorgensen in the middle. Ohashi mightn't need him. Goes square towards Gardner Hickman. So blocked by Davis. The shot from Baraji's wide, but not too far wide. How many warnings do Ipswich Town need?
Well, this is another game at Portman Road, isn't it? You know, when we are, without doubt, clearly the best side out on that pitch, but we don't sort of go through with it. You know, we anger the crowd. We should have these people right the way behind us, but we do so many silly things that in the end they turn against us.
Yeah, you're right. Spot on. Just annoying. Matusiwa heads it over halfway. Nodded down by McLaughlin. There is Baraji to give it back to Atchison. Understandably, still hope in the hearts of these Blackburn players and fans. I'm kind of looking and thinking, well, this lot are nothing special. I know they lead 2-0, but we can have this lot. Through to Jorgensen. Jorgensen trying to get away from Davis. A test of Davis's injury. Jorgensen gets away from, tries to hit it across from a very acute angle. Great covering from Cedric Kipre, who went every yard with him, and he's blocked the ball out behind for a corner kick to Blackburn, but it's not good viewing at the moment.
No, it's not, and that was touch and go, because there was a possibility, a little bit of stupidity, a poor challenge, and that could easily have ended up being a penalty. And fortunately we didn't do that in the end, but we were at 6s and 7s.
Cantwell on this corner kick for Blackburn. Athon's coming on, Burns is coming on. The changes are about to be made from the Ipswich Town bench. They need to liven up. Cantwell with a corner kick onto the roof of the net, very poor. I don't know if he's trying to score from that or what, but he made a right mess of it, wasted. So I think with some confidence, scribble out George Hurst's name.
That wouldn't have surprised me if he hadn't tried to score there, because Christian Walton has been coming very decisively for crosses, you know, and commanding, really. He's always taken the ball out of the air nicely. And maybe the player just thought, you know, if he tries to do that again, I can hit this ball with the outside of my right foot and bend it in.
Well, he's got the confidence. He has got the ability, Cantwell. He is a good footballer, no doubt in that. Hurst's done well, up to Nunez. Maybe George's last involvement in the game. Infield from McLaughlin. It was meant for Tronstadt, but it reached Baraji. Blackburn having a little go at the moment. Atchison over halfway. The crowd a bit negative towards Ipswich Town. Not enjoying this. Atchison, good run forward, but then gives it to Furlong. Furlong steals. We'll go straight back to a Blackburn jersey on the halfway line. Tronstadt to the left-hand side. Crowd reacting positively now. Getting behind the home team. Mistake from Cantwell. Ball's out for a throw, which will mean that Athon and Burns can come on for Ipswich Town. That is it for George Hurst this afternoon. Great to see George back. A little bit rusty, but it's important that he stays fit for the remainder of the season. To be replaced by Ivan Athon, and Burns will also be a like-for-like switch. He'll go over and play on the far side in place of Sindrawalla Egley for the final quarter exactly of this championship match. Interesting to see if Burns makes his first league start of the season against his former club on Tuesday night. Such a popular figure. Here he comes. Throw in to Furlong, playing behind Burns on the far side for the final quarter. Still 2-0. Both goals in the first 12 minutes. Cashin with an own goal and then Taylor with a tap-in. Here is Athon immediately getting involved. Out to fellow sub Clark down this left-hand side. Davis has made a lung-busting run in front of him. Clark rolls away from Gardner-Hickman. Good play from Clark. Then he's brought down by Tronstadt. Free kick. Referee played an advantage there after the initial foul from Gardner-Hickman. It's Tronstadt who's given the free kick away and had his name taken.
Yeah, he did well, Jack Clark, there. He had the possibility of the overlap there with Leif Davis. He could have played him in, but he used that as a decoy and stepped inside, and once he stepped inside he almost won a free kick from the initial challenge, but then won a definite free kick with the second challenge. And you're talking about literally 12 inches outside the penalty area. Superb angle as well.
Yeah, Nunez and Davis over this one. No big surprise. Interesting placement of the wall. It's offline with the goalkeeper's bringing it in a little bit. 69 minutes played at Portman Road. Ipswich Town attacking the Sir Bobby Robson standoff to our left. So, free kick to Ipswich Town. 21 minutes to go. They lead 2-0. No goals in the second half so far, but we'd all sit a lot more comfortably in our seats if either Nunez or Davis can conjure up something from this set piece. It's going to be one of those two to take it. It's Nunez who hits it up. It's still rising. It's over the bar.
Tame again, I think.
Yeah.
The original wall actually had two players of the four outside of the near post, so they were pretty much saying that Leif Davis, no, you can't bend this round that side. So they covered that, but they then changed it when they realised, or pretty sure it was going to be Nunez. They started to step further across to cover the centre of the goal.
Furlong loses the ball on the far side to Deneuve. Then Ohashi rather got it stuck between his feet. Clipped forward by Cash, and it's Cantwell who brings it down, but into the chest of Matusiwa. Matusiwa in field to Clark in the central area. Clark, that's where he enjoyed himself last weekend. Clark spins, gets the better of Atchison, who's on a yellow card. He leans into Clark. Got to watch himself, Atchison. He's got away with that one. It's not even a free kick on this occasion as Deneuve clears. Touched in field by Cantwell, but only to Clark. He gives it back to O'Shea on the halfway line. O'Shea straight to Cantwell, not his best bit of work of the afternoon. Still 20 minutes to go in this game. Cantwell's gone down holding his face after a challenge from Furlong. Matthew Seawer shields the ball away from O'Hashie. Cantwell's still down holding his face. He's going to need some treatment. Tal will be happy enough. A little break and play there.
Yeah, I think so. You know, it just helps the game to settle down. I'm just surprised that Jack Clark didn't get a second free kick. It's a strange thing sometimes, referees. He gave the first free kick, you know, just so naturally. Yep, that's a definite free kick. And then because the second one comes so quickly afterwards, referees almost doubt that that's a possibility. No way would anybody give a second free kick away so quickly. Well, it was a free kick, and it should have been our ball just 30 yards from the opposition goal.
Cantwell still down on the far side, so a chance to remind you of the numbers to get in touch afterwards. 0800 141 2121 to have a chat to Graham and Mick, or text 81333, start those SFK, or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Also put SFK at the start of those, or email me brenner@bbc.co.uk. After Bristol City here on Tuesday, I mentioned earlier on that Town are at Bramall Lane in a week's time, and then they've got Preston here in a couple of weeks, and then it's that run of 5 successive away games for Ipswich Town, starting at Portsmouth on the Tuesday, then we're at Derby on the Saturday, and then the following Friday night, that was confirmed yesterday, that FA Cup game up at Wrexham is on Friday the 13th of February.
I've just seen, while you were talking, I've seen the replay of that incident that the treatment's been caused through, and Furlong, if there was VAR here today, Furlong would be off the pitch. It was an absolute deliberate elbow right to the face. It was naughty.
Wow, he's been very, very lucky then, Darnell Furlong. Clearly nothing spotted by the referee. He's got away completely scot-free, but poor Cantwell's on the deck. It's going to be okay to hopefully get back up on his feet fairly soon. Town have still got on the bench Greaves, Young, Kayuste, Smodix hoping to feature for obvious reasons. So poor from Darnell Furlong. Very fortunate. It's very bizarre though to have done that. Not ideal from Ipswich Town's perspective. Had he got himself a 3-game ban, got away with one there. Cantwell coming back on the field. Furlong it is who gives it to O'Shea. 17 minutes plus added on to go. Clark loses the ball under pressure from Atchison. Baraji. Are Blackburn going to be able to make the most of this opportunity, which a standard Ipswich Town are trying to give them in this second half? Again, the link up between Atchison and Gardner-Hickman didn't work out. Through to Leif Davis of Ipswich Town. Cantwell back on the field, hence the boos. Matthew Seawer plays it behind Davis. Thankfully Town lead 2-0, but still it isn't good enough. Here is Cantwell, forward from Gardner-Hickman, but only to Leif Davis. Clark trying to get between a couple of players. Matthew Seawer held back by Gardner-Hickman in a battle between the two number 5s, which the referee saw. It's a very, very poor game to watch this second half. But we must remember, at the moment, it's a 6th straight win here for Ipswich Town, 5 in a row in the league. Last time they did that was on their way to promotion, April 2024. And as I said earlier on, another clean sheet as well. That's the downside, is the injury to Philogene. Hopefully nothing too bad. Denev towards Cantwell, doesn't control it. In steps O'Shea, touch from Matthew Seawer. Taylor goes long looking for Athon. One in the air by McLaughlin. Cashney hasn't had a bad game actually. Gives it to this right hand side, and Gardner-Hickman goes long towards O'Hashie. Furlong rises, wins that challenge. Kipre gets the better of Jorgensen again. Cantwell brings it down 30 yards out straight to Nunez, but he can't control it. Denev one-on-one with Burns, trying to get away from the Welshman underneath the Blackburn fans. Gets his cross into the middle. O'Shea's there to meet it by the near post and head it out far side.
Yeah, he needed to be there as well, O'Shea, because the next player along was a Blackburn player and in a good position as well, so that was a decent headed clearance.
Final 15 minutes live on BBC Radio Suffolk. McLaughlin carries the ball on off his chest into the Ipswich area, but Takes it out behind. It's going to be a goal kick. Sam Smodix looks like he's readying himself for action. Probably in place of Marcelino Nunez, one would have thought. Get a good ovation from the Blackburn fans who absolutely love him after his 33 goals for them a couple of seasons ago, 27 in the Championship, which prompted Ipswich Town to buy him. Has been linked with a move away from town this month. Derby, the obvious club, said to be in the mix because of his connections to John Eustace. Kayuste coming on as well, as the ball is at the back with O'Shea. Now here is Kipre. Kayuste, does he take off Taylor, or is it Matthew Siwa, just with that 10th yellow card in the mind of Kieran McKenna? He's got to go and win this game first, though. Let's go back to Graham for goal news.
Millwall 1-up at Watford. Coventry still 1-1 with Leicester. In the Manchester derby, United lead City 2-0.
Wow, give Carrick a 6-year deal. Back the ball goes to Walton. Left-footed, he'll play it forward. Good header by Athon, out to Burns. Burns eventually gets the ball out of his feet, running in field, little break, Burns into the area, pulls it back for Clark, chance for 3-0, block comes to Nunez, saved by the goalkeeper who's too casual. He's got to score that, Nunez.
Yes, he has, without question. You know, I mean, Burns got a little bit lucky, but you know, but then he sort of, you know, creates an opportunity for Clark, and then, you know, the rebound comes to Nunez, and he's got to put it away.
Nunez on this corner kick for Ipswich Town. 13 minutes to go. Blackburn still in this game, but if Town score now, they're certainly not. It's all over. Town are going back to within a couple of points of Middlesbrough, third in the table. In from Nunez to the far post, plenty of players go up. Might have been Athon was the closest Town player to it. It's come off him. It's out for a goal kick to Blackburn. There's another double change for Ipswich Town. Here come the changes for Ipswich. That was Nunez's last involvement. He's being replaced by Smodix. And the other change is Taylor, the goal scorer, is replaced by Kayuste. Had it been 3-0 at this stage, that might well have been Kayuste for Matthew Siwa, but understandably Kieran McKenna wants to leave the Dutchman out there, whilst this one to an extent is still in the balance. Here comes Taylor to be replaced by Jens Kayuste. A pat of palms with his manager, then a pat on the back for the Irish international. Really, this would be criminal if Town don't get 3 points from this game. Surely they will. Forward from Atchison, that's Kipres. Kipre controls it, gives it to Matthew Siwa, who goes back to O'Shea. He'll be closed down by Cantwell, who I'm sure would love a 50-50 with Furlong. Furlong passes the ball up to Smodix. Smodix's control reaches Baraji. In goes Matthew Siwa. Smodix gets the ball back, spins on it. They want to put on a good show against his former club. He's done well there, Smodix. He's found Kayuste driving forward from midfield into the box. Athon brought down, has to be a penalty. Goodness gracious me. That looked the most obvious penalty of the season. What a call from the referee if he's got that one right. He's signalling that he got the ball. Well, what a challenge from the Blackburn defender. But amongst all of that, Athon should have scored.
Wow. I think this is a penalty.
Oh, it's a penalty.
The ball doesn't move an inch. Not an inch.
Wow, what a decision from Mr. Kitchen. And it was Cashin, I think, was the player. What an afternoon it would have been for him. Shades of Jonathan Woodgate about his debut if he'd given away a penalty there.
Oh dear.
Wow.
I'd like to see it again from the original view they showed, but it didn't look as if the ball moved.
Well, interesting we talk about nobody wants VAR, but would have worked both ways for Ipswich Town in this game. They'd have been down to 10 men because Furlong would have been off, but they'd have just been given a penalty, so there you go, things even themselves out. I wonder which incident Kieran McKenna will most want to talk about post-match there. Here is Atchison with a header, still 2-0, 10 minutes to go. Still not very good to watch. Tronstadt. Atchison once again. Tronstadt again, straight to Matthew Siwa. More interceptions won by anybody at this level this season, Matthew Siwa. Well, that wasn't a good ball from him. Fight out to the far side for Blackburn, and Deneuve, his control's that bad, it's turned into a pass for Burns. Great play from Burns down the wing, but then the ball just span out on the far side. Tronstadt almost given away. In goes Clark, brought down by Cantwell. Free kick. Cantwell's going to get a yellow card for that.
That's a popular yellow.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's as happy as the Town fans have been in the second half. I think that moment when he got the yellow. Final 9 minutes live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Full match commentary on Tuesday of Bristol City here. Join me for the Blue Hour on Monday, 6 till 7. Part of the show will be looking ahead to that. We'll also have reaction to David Wright's first game in charge of Ipswich Town women against Sheffield United tomorrow in Felixstowe in the FA Cup. Town's under-18s, I think through to the 5th round now of the FA Youth Cup. Decent win for them down at Bromley the other night. Town have a man down, caught late at some Smodocks. He's hobbling away. Free kick far side. I guess there's a chance we might hear from Jack Taylor perhaps post-match, talking about this game and his first goal of the season. Kipre, all unlucky. The idea was right, just not enough fade on that curled ball through a little gap. Too much on it for Leif Davis. The idea was right. So 2-0. Cantwell goes back to Tott. Draws in Athon and then kicks the ball forward. That battle between Kipre and Jorgensen, won yet again by the Ipswich Town centre half. Norwich away to Wrexham at 3 o'clock. Graham's on air with Matchday till 6. There'll be news of that and all the local football as well. Still plenty of sport to follow when we're done and dusted here at Portman Road this afternoon. Atchison left the ball for Ahashi. Ahashi finally gets on it. Here come Blackburn. Ahashi's got the ball. No obvious option yet. Eventually gives it to Cashin. Deneuve, wide left outside the Ipswich area. Comes on his right foot. Baraji belts it against O'Shea. Not for the first time. The captain's a good block. O'Shea to Smodocks. Smodocks in behind for Athon. Athon gets her ahead of the keeper. Not quite. Great work for the goalkeeper. Well out of his area. Had to make that cleanly, and he did.
Yeah, he did well in the end, the goalkeeper. Super ball, super run. Keeper did well.
Ahashi to Cantwell down the right. Early ball in from Cantwell. Flick header away from O'Shea. Will be picked up by Deneuve. Up against Furlong over in the far corner. He pulls the ball back to Cashin. Cashin to Baraji. Challenged by Matusiwa. Baraji comes away with the ball. Tronstadt lifts it down through the centre circle. 6.5 minutes to go. Poor touch from Atchison. Clark gets on it, but Athon plays it too far in front of Clark, who had a chance of going one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The ball bounces at the back. Kipre brings it down for Ipswich Town and then gives it to Matusiwa in midfield. At the moment, it's another clean sheet and another win at Portman Road for Ipswich Town. We'd love a third goal now, though. Burns wide right, low into the area towards Smodocks. Might get another bite at it. Turns it back to Burns. That's all he could do, Smodocks. Kiyuste tiptoes away from Baraji. Matusiwa to Athon, just outside the box in the central area. Plays it behind the referee to Kipre. Kipre to Davis down the left-hand side. Exactly 6 minutes to go live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Clark looks up, takes on Atchison, just beyond Kipre. O'Shea is covering. Otherwise, either Jorgensen or Ahashi could have taken the ball through and played it beyond Christian Walton. A little mix-up from Town. Left-footed forward from Walton. Springing to header is Cashin. A little nod down from Furlong finds Smodocks. Burns trying to link up again with Furlong. Deneuve gets back and clips it away, not very far. Matusiwa challenges Baraji. Aaron Cashin for Blackburn. Goes across field to Gardner-Hickman. Kiyuste should get there. Actually, Kipre stepped in the end. Good play from Kipre, so strong, so commanding. Then he's played the ball off Gardner-Hickman. It is a throw into Town. That's the right decision from the assistant underneath us. Final 5 minutes at Portman Road. Clark lifts the ball over his man, then feeds it to Smodocks against his former club. He's pulled his shot wide from 18 yards. Town have got a man down on the deck, holding the back of his head. It's Clark who was clattered into.
Poor finish, a real snatch finish, and it's gone probably about 3 or 4 yards wide, you know, but it was another opportunity. We just don't seem to be able to kill the game off.
No, sadly not, but thankfully the clock is against Blackburn Rovers. Played 41 minutes in this second half. Blackburn have the ball at the back, up towards O'Shea robs O'Hashi, up towards Clark. Smodix trying to control it, poor touch from him. Let's go back to Graham.
It's a Coventry goal, I'm afraid. Hadji right, they've come from behind to lead Leicester 2-1.
Wow, big win for them that would be. So the top three at the start of the weekend all winning as things stand. Middlesbrough already got 3 points on the board. Town heading towards them, so too Coventry. Smodix forward to Athon, might have to go it alone inside the D, goes down on a chance from Atchison. The referee says no, he's back up on his feet still. Athon, lovely spin, comes out to Clark and then off Clark out behind. How on earth have Town not scored a third goal in the second half?
Incredible. You know, we're in position to do it, but we just don't seem to just go through with it. You know, we haven't played particularly well, you know, and I mean, Blackburn have been as good as us in the second half, but it's just been a game full of mistakes. There's another one there.
Oh, it's given away by Tronstadt, so poor. Thankfully Blackburn haven't been better. You've got to remember that Town are 2-0 up, likely to win this game, but wow. Should have been a lot more straightforward. Cantwell for Blackburn plays it forward. Baraji's after this, can't get the better of a 50-50 with Kipre. Ball is back with Walton. It's going to be interesting to see who's announced as man of the match. Maybe they have already. The obvious contenders, possibly Nunez because the fans love him. Davis up towards Athon, he's putting himself about, he's done well there. He's won the ball for Kayuste. Smodix is desperately trying to stay onside. Kayuste's wrong with the ball, puts it in behind for Burns. Burns with a great chance, he goes square. Smodix finally scores a goal for Ipswich Town at Portman Road, and it's come against his former club. How unselfish that was from Wes Burns, though, to lay it on a plate. It's Smodix who makes it 3-0 Ipswich Town, and they finally sealed this victory.
Well, as soon as it was Wes Burns that was played inside the box, you just did believe that something positive would happen, because he either scores or he creates from that type of position, and in the end he's just laid it on an absolute plate for Smodix. Good play by Wes Burns, good finish Smodix.
Really good goal, the ball in behind from Kayuste to Burns, who looked up and put it on a plate for Smodix. Nice goal from Ipswich Town. Finally we can celebrate a victory for Town. I think Blackburn about to make another change. Adam Forshaw, very experienced midfielder, started out at Everton many moons ago but made his name at the likes of Leeds and Brentford. He also had a spell at Huddersfield, where Cameron Humphreys is now playing his football. Blackburn near side with Gardner Hickman infield to Tronstadt, so the big penalty shout hasn't made much of a difference. Ball up towards Cantwell, now Town trying to keep that clean sheet. Blackburn have a rare corner kick which Cantwell's likely to take from the tunnel. So as you were at the top of the table really before kick-off in terms of the order. Ipswich Town third, Borough second, Coventry on top, which wasn't actually going to change in terms of the positions with these early kick-offs, but the points have. Forshaw and Doherty both coming on. Tronstadt is going off to make way for Forshaw, and the other player going off is Zuhashi, being replaced by Aidan Doherty, like for like up top. So yeah, Coventry, if they beat Leicester, on 55 points, Middlesbrough 49, and Ipswich Town with this win on 47, but of course they've got a game in hand on Middlesbrough, so the possibility when they play Portsmouth of going into second place. 5 minutes of added on time, we're into that with Cantwell's corner kick, volleyed away by Furlong. Smodix tucks it round to Gardner Hickman. Across the park will come Denev. He gets there ahead of Smodix and gives the ball back to his goalkeeper. Yeah, it's been a while coming, that first Portman Road goal for Sam Smodics. Blackburn fans probably thought it was bound to come against us, and it has. Just back recently from that spell of illness out of the team. Let's hope it'll be the start of a decent run of form. Matthew Siwa to Athon, out to the right-hand side, and Burns, who's done well since he came on. He can't get on to that.
He's just a straightforward player, Wes Burns. That's what I like about him. You know roughly where he's going to be at all times. He makes good positions. He makes himself available for the ball. His first touch invariably is a good one. I just think he makes good decisions as well.
Good work from Kipre in the final third, intercepting a loose pass from Blackburn when they were trying to play it out from the back. Gardner-Hickman hits it up towards Baraji, won by Matusiwa. Denev against Burns. Burns gets the final touch, out of play 40 through to Blackburn Rovers. Gives the announcement of the man of the match. Cedric Kipre, good shout. There's another good game at the back. There's another clean sheet at the moment anyway for Ipswich. Been a very good signing. Atchison's ball goes out of play. Punched back towards the pitch by a huddle of fans down below us. So yes, it's now 6 straight wins here for Ipswich Town in all competitions. Unbeaten in 9 at Portman Road, 7 wins and 2 draws. Remember the struggle very early season to get that first home win, but now holding them back at the moment. Not that that's going to count for a great deal in February when they're really here. Left-footed forward from Forshaw. Winning it is O'Shea, headed back to him by Burns. O'Shea then plays up towards the halfway line. Athon gets a little shove in the back from Cashin, who started the ball rolling with that early own goal. Ball over the top for Smodics to chase. Touch back by McLaughlin to his goalkeeper. Top has to stretch, and he did well enough in the end. Belted high in the air by Cashin towards the halfway line, nodded down by O'Shea. Cantwell takes it on his right thigh. Poor pass from Cantwell. Davis, who seems to have shaken off that knock, which is good. Goes back to Christian Walton. 2 minutes of the added on 5 to go. Athon battling with McLaughlin. Cantwell brings it down on halfway for Forshaw, driving forward, then off to the left-hand side. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come on match day. Those of an Ipswich Town player as well. Now Forshaw knocks the ball into the Ipswich area. Davis heads it away. Denev for Blackburn. Little 1-2 with Jorgensen. Denev still has the ball. Has he won a corner kick? But looks like it. Yes, he has. Corner kick for Blackburn with 90 seconds to go. Like Blackpool a week ago, can they get a late consolation in the penalty box off to our right-hand side? Certainly no points for them on their trip to Suffolk this afternoon. Cantwell pulls the ball back for Gardner. Hickman doesn't shoot, gives it back to Cantwell. In it comes right-footed from him, headed away by Furlong. A minute to go. Smodics loses the ball to Baraji. In goes Kayuste. Baraji still somehow come away with the ball, but then eventually runs into Kayuste, who gets it. Free kick given for the foul on the Swede. He takes it quickly, but the referee is unhappy with that. And it's a free kick which Christian Walton will take. No, he's given it to O'Shea. 30 seconds to go. Town have got the win over the line. Kipre to Davis. There is Clark, a half-time sub for Jayden Philogene. Clark goes back to Christian Walton. Plays it to Kipre, then gets it back. Walton out to his right-hand side. O'Shea. Town playing it around inside their penalty area. Then Walton lifts it out of play near side. But by the time Gardner-Hickman picks up this spare ball, the 5 minutes of added on time are up at the end of this game. 4 short of Blackburn. There goes confirmation via the referee's whistle that Ipswich Town have beaten Blackburn Rovers by 3-0. It's 6 straight wins here at Portman Road for Ipswich Town in all competitions.
Yeah, I think it was one of those games we made extremely hard work of it. I really do think we did. we've actually played nearly all the game 2-0 in front. You know, if that doesn't relax you as a team and gets the best out of you, then, you know, something is wrong really, because there's nothing better than playing a game of football when you're 2 goals in front. There really isn't. You know, it must inspire you, but it didn't inspire us very much, you know, and constantly, you know, Blackburn were sort of bringing themselves in with a chance in the game. You know, they weren't very good, but it was such a long time from when we scored the second to when we scored the third. You know, and we did have the opportunity not only to create a chance, but actually to take a chance as well. So we're in good form at the moment with regards to results. We're in a great league position, but I'm not sure whether we're the full ticket at the moment. You know, there's something stops us playing a really good team game. There really is. You know, we don't seem to be able to sort of link up from the goalkeeper to the centre forward. There's some little thing that is amiss at the moment, and certainly today I thought, you know, why didn't we make a decision early on to play, you know, from the goalkeeper? If Blackburn wanted to stop us playing out from the back, so be it. Just hit the front and play from there. You know, change your philosophy, change your direction a little bit. You know, but we've refused to do it. And every time we tried to play out from the back, there was a possibility that they were going to gain possession and cause us a problem. You know, but to be perfectly honest, in the end, Blackburn weren't good enough to sort of worry us and to take any of the points off us. But, you know, I'm not going to be alone on this, you know what I'm saying, because the crowd got a little bit uptight during the second half. They really did. You know, you just sense that they were with the team for a long period, and then it got to a point where they even said, look, you know, you can't keep playing this way. This is not, you're not actually on top of your game. Don't mess around so much, you know, be more straightforward than you are, and you will find that you will win games more comfortably if you can win a game more comfortably than 3-0. But let's be fair, we've done this before, you know, where, you know, we've won a game 3-0 sort of almost into injury time, you know, and it papers over the cracks. You know, we aren't quite right, we really aren't. You know, we've got to play better than this, and we've just had a nice break. We've had a mini break. It's almost like a closed season which we've been gifted. You know, we should have been a lot fresher, a lot more up for it. You know, we should have really killed this team off by half time. We really should. So for me, good result, good league position. We have a great opportunity ahead of us, but we really seriously have to play better than this.
Maybe they don't to get promoted this season.
Well, it is a possibility.
That could be the case, couldn't it?
It is a possibility, because the division might have been, you know, all of a sudden it's dropped down a peg or two, the division. For about 3 or 4 years, the championship at the top of the league has been extremely good. But this year, I don't think it is. I think that, you know, the 3 that are there at the moment, you know, Coventry, Middlesbrough and ourselves, you know, I think we've been almost gifted an opportunity, if you like, to take promotion, you know, because the ones that are chasing aren't as good as what they have been in previous years. But I don't think we've got to worry about other people. You know, I think we've got the programme in front of us. We've got the squad, and I am not really bothered about whether we sign anybody or not, to be perfectly honest. I have been in other years. I've always wanted an introduction. I've always believed it's been very important to do it. But, you know, I do look at this squad and I keep looking at it, and I keep looking at other people's squads and thinking, well, we're better than them. You know, why don't we make it easy for ourselves? You know, that we we are a team that make things difficult for ourselves.
They do seem to. That seems to be the Ipswich Town way. They are, though, still keeping up the pressure on the only two teams above them in the Championship table, Middlesbrough and, of course, leaders Coventry. And, of course, they still have a game in hand, Ipswich Town. I'm going to pop downstairs and chat to Kieran McKenna about this afternoon's 3-0 win over Blackburn Rovers.